try that again. Hello everyone and welcome back to Defense of the Australians. I actually had my microphone silenced.
I opened my mouth. I'm like, okay, I'll do it. And then you start. I'm like, okay, it's all good.
Yeah, sorry about that. We do have game number 2 here between Snatch Steel and Please Sponsor AU. Snatch Steel did take the first game, unless I'm mistaken. Pretty sure they did.
Yeah, yes, Snatch still won the first game. Quite convincing.
Yeah, and I'm Zolorov, and I'm joined by Yoshi, of course. Man, this intro is not going so well for us. But yeah, we'll just hop right into the drafting. We see L Titan Visage, and they just get banned out so far.
You know what we need? We need some dubstep, crazy lights, and all that. That will spice up the intro. And Snatch still, they'll be picking up their Weaver part of this lineup. We did see that Weaver in Please. Did they have it before? Yes, they did. What am I? I'm getting confused about myself now. They had the Weaver in that they've offlane. Oh wow, I've forgotten what happened last game. Give me a second. This is going from bad to worse at the moment.
10 seconds remaining.
Well, we'll see what Please Sponsor AU decide to pick up as a response. I mean, regardless of which lane they decide to play it in, if it's going to be in a tri lane, or if it's going to be played somewhere such as a off lane, it'll be fine. Based on this, it doesn't look like they want to go for an aggressive tri lane with this Weaver, just because if you want to do that, you generally want to keep the Visage in the pool, just so you can pick that up yourselves if possible. Just because, yeah, in an aggressive tri lane, this just does wonders in terms of getting those early kills.
It's all come back to me. So last game, Snatch Still, they ran that Weaver part of that tri-lane in aggressively. One of the problems with that is Weaver got picked off 3 times early on because he did not have the XP he needed. He needed that time lapse early on, and Please Sponsor AU, they made him pay early on. Unfortunately for Please Sponsor AU, they couldn't keep him down. Weaver started to pick up some farm around the map, and he took off. So last game, Snatch Still, they need to be careful with this Weaver in this game. They need to get that level 6 up on Weaver before he can start being in that aggressive role. He doesn't work too well in tri-lanes because he needs the XP. He's one of the most XP reliant heroes up until level 6, especially for carry standards. So hopefully Snatch Still, they do make a little bit of a judgment in this game and have that Weaver by himself in that off lane trying to soak in and get as much XP as possible. In the end, it did all work out for Snatch Still. Weaver was ripping through heroes with that Desolator up and running on him. Over inside Please Sponsor AU, they will pick up a Rubik. Rubik, as we saw last game for Please Sponsor AU, played quite well, being played on Hung L. He was doing great lifts, he was doing great initiations. He couldn't grab the spells he necessarily needed all the time. He did have Zakuchi up and running and was able to consistently do harassment and be able to escape. Unfortunately, running out of Zakuchi one time getting picked off, but things like that happen. But Hung L played a fantastic Rubik. But in this game, I just feel as if Please Sponsor AU, they just need to play it consistently. They had one little off chance, and then they gave Snatch Still that opening, which Snatch Still took and ran away with the victory.
Yeah, and Please Sponsor AU, they've picked up a Venomancer here. We've seen some interesting things coming out from a Venomancer so far in this tournament alone. We saw Shatan play it. From Hive Dwellers play it in a mid role and did really well with it. We've also just seen it as a support and whatnot. We're actually going to see a Night Stalker, which is obviously in the most recent patch, he's certainly seen a resurgence in the metagame.
That he is, especially with with the night chime shift, he can come online earlier. He doesn't have to go for that darkness at level 6. He can wait till about level 8 before he needs to pick it up, before he can start using it through the daytime. In the meantime, he can have 2 or 1 point up in the hunter in the night and start working his way through those enemies and have that additional movement speed and attack speed. He's so very strong. His ability for the silence and the instant burst damage coming out from the void. At level 7, his void does 335 damage with an 8-second cooldown. It's ridiculous. It slows your attack speed, it slows your move speed, and he can just get on in there and finish you off quite easily. And as we saw against that Puck, they ran it quite well, shut down the Puck, and Puck had difficulties, but in the end, Puck overcame it from nice rotations coming out from Please Sponsor AU, and so far with the supports from Please Sponsor AU, they have fantastic heroes that can roam around and support. But as you said before about Shaitan running Venomancer mid, I kind of hope we see another Venomancer being run in mid here.
10 seconds remaining.
It would certainly make for some interesting plays.
5 seconds.
Obviously, when we actually saw Stan run it, he did have a little bit of support. The supports did roam a little bit and start setting up those ganks up early on, just so it ensured that he had the advantage. But
Radiant team
I mean, generally, especially now in the current meta in 6.79, it seems that those supports, the roaming is just a little bit more important. You sort of have to get those gains going so they can get the extra experience. You can't just get them to pull creeps anymore for them to leech it that way. You have to actually have them being a little bit more active, which makes things a lot more interesting and also brings a lot more action around the map. We'll see the Darkseer, the Razor get banned out there, the Abaddon, and the Shadow Shaman. That Shadow Shaman ban
seconds remaining.
is a little bit interesting. I mean, we've seen Shadow Shaman picked up a little bit more now, especially with the most recent patch. He also does more damage with his ultimate, of course, but at the same time, an interesting ban out there by Play Sponsor AU.
And Razor's been taken out by Snatch Steal. This, usually if you see a Razor banned out, it could lead your eyes to a possible OD or a lifesteal pick, as both of them have managed to be able to sneak through that pool, so it's a little bit interesting that neither of them has been picked up as of yet. Snatch Steal, pardon me, it's going to have a little bit hard to fit into their lineup, as they've got the Night Stalker who needs that melee once at early levels and be able to roam, and if you have a roaming Night Stalker, that's usually better than an OD who will want to sit behind and try and get up as much farm as possible. There's also, who else did I just say? Someone else.
Lifestealer.
Lifesteal. Lifesteal's still in the pool. Police Sponsor AU could have picked it up, but they went for that Phantom Lancer, so they're going for a split push kind of lineup with a lot of roaming. Venomancer, Bounty Hunter, Ruben. These three heroes are great roaming, especially that Bounty Hunter. He's going to absorb that level 6 XP, hit level 6, and then take away, and then start roaming around, getting those kills. That track gold will help them out exponentially. If they fall behind a little bit, get 2 or 3 track golds in one fight. You've caught up instantly. It's just such a fantastic ability. And not to mention that increased movement speed, and I don't think it lowers armor. No, it doesn't lower armor. But that increased movement speed against that target it helps. There's no way you can get away from it most of the time, no matter who you are. And if there's a Venomancer on your tail, throws down a ward, gets that movement speed off, there's no way you're getting away from there. But one of the problems that Police Sponsor AU have is, where's their lockdown? They have Rubik.
Yeah, they're gonna need. Well, we'll see what they decide to do, but I feel that you're right on the ball there. They don't have that much lockdown. I mean, a good Rubik lift, and then a landing can stun a few heroes, get them locked down. But you're not always going to be able to land that, and having something else as a stunner would be nice. Maybe they'll pick up something like maybe they might roll a puck mid or something, just because that way you can have the puck, you've got the Dream Coil, you've got the Waning Rift to silence and whatnot in those team fights. Dream Coil can keep heroes in a small area. Allows you to control those engagements a little bit better. But I mean, we'll see what Police Sponsor AU pick up here. But yeah, I certainly agree with you. They do need a little bit of lockdown.
And Snatch Steal, I feel as they themselves need a little bit of AoE on their side. You've got none of it. They've got a Clockwork who's great initiation, Weaver, Nightstalker, Vengeful. They've got a lot of this pick-off potential. Will we be able to see them utilize the pick-off potential is another story. Nightstalker will start roaming around that 5-minute mark, 6-minute mark. He should have an easy control of the rune depending on who he's up against. The next bans will come out, see both of them start trying to... Or see Snatch still trying to get rid of a mid-hero. Police Sponsor AU will be looking at a possible final support to go along with that Vengeful Spirit. But it comes down to Police Sponsor AU. What kind of mid-hero do they want? I feel as if a puck would be fantastic. They have a silence. They have that Dream Coil to be able to lock heroes into place. They really need some kind of crowd control, put it at the least. They will take out that Doom. That's a strange ban, if I do say so myself. But they will take out that Doom, but they really need to find some kind of stunning mid-hero, or some kind of hero that can lock down or initiate, and Puck I think would be the best option. If that Puck gets banned out by Snatch still here, I think Police Sponsor AU, they may have the underhand, will be the underdogs in this mid lane role.
And it's going to be a Viper ban. So, Police Sponsor, they might pick up that puck, but we'll see exactly where they decide to go. I feel like that both sides here, both from Snatch Steel and Police Sponsor EU, they've both got that sort of roamy gank style. Phantom Lance's, he just wants to sit in his own lane and farm for a while, of course. But the rest of the lineup, Bounty Hunter, Venomancer, Rubik, you're going to see those heroes, well, we should see those heroes roaming through the lanes, moving into one lane to another. And same here from Snatch Steel. They've got the Clockwork, they've got the Night Stalker, you got the Venture Spirit who can roam into different lanes, set up a nice combination with that Magic Missile, and once there's a swap, of course, a great initiator as well. Police Sponsor AU, they're going to pick up an Invoker here. I mean, I've seen a few Invokers picked up here and there, but how do you feel about this? Against the Night Stalker, how do you think an Invoker will go?
Against a Night Stalker, I think he'll have a shot. I mean, your Forge Spirits are now so much stronger because you can invoke 2 abilities at level 2 now. I believe it's level 2 you pick up and invoke. Having both the Storm Spirits, the Forge Spirits, and a Cold Snap, the negative armor will just drill through heroes, not to mention the pushing power will come out once you get 2 of those Forge Spirits up and running. As an overall final hero part of this lineup, I do not quite like. He does have mini stuns, he does have the ability to CC with that Deafening Blast, he does have a lot of versatility, but it's not necessarily reliable, and they're kind of really lacking on that reliable stun department. On the other hand, Snatch, so they pick up a Lina, they got a little bit more burst. Actually, they've got their own little bit of burst coming out from that Lina with that Dragon Slave Laguna and Light Strike Array with those AoE abilities. So it's a really nice pickup there, especially if you can combine that with a Vengeful Spirit swap Magic Missile, or you have Clockwork with the initiation, they're stuck in your cogs. That Lina complements that lineup of Snatch Steel. But Invoker, we will see how well Fizzy will be able to run that Invoker. I mean, and what kind of build he wants to go. I would suspect he'll go for those Forge Spirit builds, as that's taken off in a resurgence with Invokers recently, but you never know, he might pull something out of his bag. And on the side for Police Support AU, we do have Fizzy, he is the team captain, and he will be going on mid with that Invoker. You do have down the bottom lane, rear glute spread please will be that Phantom Lancer, followed by T-Chan and Barcode, those supports on Rubik and Venomancer. And finally, you have off lane Hung L on that Bounty Hunter.
And for the side of Snatch Steel, we do have their team captain, Ali, sitting on that Night Stalker. We have Optic on that Lina. Chiss is on the Vengeful Spirit. Adro playing the Weaver. And last but not least, we've got Oxley on that Clockwork. And they've already gone for a smoke gank here.
Oh, I was kind of hoping, actually they might still find someone out here. T-Chain, just gotta be careful. They're trying to go as wide around these forests as possible. Daytime vision, they see, there goes the Magic Missile. It lands onto T-Chain, he's in a lot of trouble. Gale will land onto one hero. It only lands onto one hero. T-Chain, he will fall. He will give away the first blood to Adro on that Reaver.
That's a big deal. I mean, the first blood, before games even started, essentially, and on the Weaver as well. That's going to really set him up already for the early game. The experience is not that big of a deal since there was all 5 of them there. They only gained 39 each, but it's that gold on that Weaver that's such a big deal.
That's the deal, hey chef. I'm sorry, I found that funny myself.
Yeah, after the first blood.
So that's going to help out this Weaver. Last game, he was the one to die 3 times before picking up a kill. This time he picks up a kill at the start of it, and they have aggressive supports with him this time. Last time they had defensive supports trying to keep him alive. That didn't work out too well. So they're going for these aggressive supports. They're going to be looking for kills on this Weaver. At the same time, Police Support AU, they're not going to worry about it. They're just going to throw their offlane Bounty Hunter against this Shrylane. They do not have any... they do have sentries on Chiss, but I like this a little bit more. Keep your Bounty Hunter alone, get him that level 6, rotate your other heroes around the other lane, and if possible, maybe find a kill on that Clockwork. If a Gale comes off and a lift comes timely fashion as well, Oxley will die, but PL, he needs the farm. He doesn't necessarily need XP, he needs the farm, and having these 2 supports there to support him, keeping him alive, and keeping that Clockwork out of the midst of things will be quite useful.
Yeah, that's true. At the same time, in this bottom lane, this Bounty Hunter might be, I'm not going to say fragile, but because they've got sentries here, he has to be very careful when he, with his Shadow Walk and all that sort of stuff, just because he can still get picked up very easily, and they have 2 reliable, well, 1 reliable stun and Optic. If they can time it well, they can just land 2 easy stuns on the Bounty Hunter, get a relatively simple pick off. But as you say, you know, if this bounty hunter can manage to survive, he might be able to get that level 6 very early and start making a play around the map. However, it looks like Snatch still want to go on the gank in mid. We do have a disconnect, so there will be a pause.
Lucky he disconnected then. These two supports were about to start rotating. If they walked into the vision of Invoker when that Rubik's computer exploded, that could have been a lot. They could have been in a lot of trouble. I mean, they would have been able to think things through, do a little puppy pause, ask Milini what's going on, and then Invoker would have survived. And I believe he is going for that Storm Spirit build. He's going for that Exhort and Cross combination. So he will have that Sunstrike up. He'll have a lot of damage and HP regeneration if he gets harassed at all by Ali. But at the moment, he looks like he's doing quite well against Ali. He's given the harassment back. However, he doesn't have as many creep kills. Ali is currently doubling those creep kills. But if these two supports and their gank work pays off, Fizzy, he's going to be set behind quite hard.
Yeah, I mean, Ali on that Night Stalker, as you were saying, he does have more last hits. He already has his bottle, it's on the way. Just on the Corral, it's about halfway through the lane. Once he has that, Ali should be feeling very safe. He'll be able to get a lot of these runes. They, of course, have rune vision in bottom. They don't have any vision in top, but they will still know which spots spawning in. And I think he probably will have the advantage over Invoker picking up those runes, especially since currently, currently Invoker does not have a bottle. I'm not sure if he will even go for one. We'll see how he plays. I suspect he will, just because he will need it. He'll need that mana and the extra health, particularly up against Night Stalker with one who's going to be harassing you with those voids. But yeah, if Fizzy gets picked off here, it's not going to be looking too good for him, and that already helps set up Ali when that first night comes around.
And speaking of that bottle, it really depends for Fizzy. He might try and rush a quick minus. A lot of Invokers, especially when you go for this Exhort build, they go for a minus because it helps get that additional attack speed off with your hard hitting Exhort additional damage. And it just works so well. Oh my god. Not to mention, it helps push the lanes, you get rid of a creep, your Storm Spirits, your Forge Spirits, why do I keep saying Storm Spirit? Your Forge Spirits can help continue that long, and it helps a lot with those, because you need that additional XP. That's my main goal that I'm trying to reach here. You need that additional XP because Exhort, it's so heavily in favor. The more Exhort you have, the more damage your Sunstrike and your Forge Spirits do. So you need as much XP as possible, and your Midas helps you get that way. Now we're resuming the game. They're getting ready. These supports will be rotating around. They're going to go through this little tree gap, and Fizzy, he's already on his way out of here. So he was already on there to start off with, so they did suspect something's up, especially since this bounty hunter's just getting free farm down bottom, and Rubik, he's just rotated in just in case if anything did happen to him.
Yeah, it was good that Fizzy backed off there when he did, because if that minus as you're talking about, it's it is a possibility that he can go for it, and it would work wonders for him. You know, the quicker experience and also the extra gold also helps. But at the same time, if he died there after a death so early, to pick up a minus would have been quite greedy for him, and I guess it still could have paid off if he was able to, find some last hits and whatnot and start to come back in that regard, but it would have been much harder. However, now Ali, as we said, does have that bottle, so he's going to be a lot more aggressive with those voids as he can just heal it up. With these two supports though from Snatch still, looks like they still want to find something in mid.
And a Hasted Vengeful Spirit will walk underneath that ward, yeah. So, nice ward placement coming out by Hung L a little bit earlier. It was Hung L. No, T-Chen. I'm getting the wrong Rubik. T-Chen with the nice ward placement over there on that river cliff. Down at bottom, we have Hung L, the real guy I was looking for, doing a lot of damage against Adro. He's just throwing Shikuchis out, throwing those Janadas down. However, rotation from these supports, they're coming in, but they should have been spotted. This bounty hunter should have been paying attention, as they did walk clearly underneath that observation ward. However, they're getting there, they're getting in position. They do not have any, they do have two sentries. If they need to use it, they will throw down a sentry. There will be the magic missile, and Hung L, he will fall. Second kill of the game going to Adro. So he's now 2 for 0, and his farm is just going really, really nice. He's 2.1k at the moment, and he just picked up boots. 3 minutes and 33-second boots. That's very, very useful on a Weaver.
Yeah, that's amazing. And the thing that it hurts here for
Up
placements
the
that
top
use
lane, there's a lift. They've
it's
got
going
to
to
see
slow
a
them down.
Sunstrike go down. The Cogs come open. They're still chasing him down. The Cogs pushing him back. Can they find that kill? There is no more Lance available, and he will get on out of there. Sorry about that.
No, it's all good. I was just gonna say, a bounty hunter who struggles to find that level 6 quickly becomes useless throughout the game, because if he can't start roaming around, if he can't get that track up for his team and get that extra gold, it's just going to be harder and harder for both him to be more useful, when team fights come around and things like that, because he does need a few items to sort of help his team out as well. And Snatch Steal, so far they've picked him off once, and they've also been able to deny him a little bit before when they were started off in the lane, but he still needs that level 6 very quickly, and since they have those sentries, he has to be very, very careful.
I still find
when
it
he's, moving around.
strange that there was an observation here, and they just weren't paying attention. They walked straight underneath it, and he just stayed that aggressive at that low health. But what can you say? Things like that do happen. A little bit of even miscommunication, or just not watching that map awareness and rotation of those supports. But good news is for Snatch Steal anyway, this Weaver, he hit level 6 11 minutes in last game. This game he's going to be considerably a lot faster than that half the time. And that just means Adro, he's not going to die anymore. I mean, once he has that time lapse on, if Venomancer comes at him with a Gale, you remove the dot, but you still have that slow on top of you. It doesn't really matter too much. All the damage, you remove all the debuffs from the Invoker. Bounty Hunter's track is gone. Everything that they can possibly do to you, except one thing, is gone off you, and you can get on out of that. And this early into the game, when these heroes don't have too much gold or XP on them, especially these supports, which is a level 2 Rubik and a level 4 Venomancer, that's going to hurt. And speaking of supports, Snatch Steal, they're behind the tier 1 tower. They're waiting to find Fizzy. We have the jump on in. Void comes out. There's a nice lift into the Sunstrike. Sunstrike's not going to be able to do it. Fizzy will fall to Vengeful Spirit in those final auto attacks, because Sis will be running behind those tier 1 tower. Optic will be able to get out of there at the front, and Barcode, he comes in fashionably late, but unfortunately he's not going to show up the crowd. Maybe.
Yeah, if he gets the Venus Gale, no, there's no real follow-up. I believe that was level 1 Gale, so not really gonna do anything there. But that was very smart. They smoke ganked and they didn't move under that usual river ward area. They moved out through the back sort of area of the jungle, just through here, and found a nice pick off on Fizzy in the mid lane, which certainly helps Ali. He'll be able to roam more now if he wants to. He's of course level 6. He will be level 7 very soon. And now we do have PSA. They've actually just moved out of the mid lane entirely. Fizzy's gone into this bottom lane. Maybe they wanted to try find a few kills of their own.
And Object, he's around the side, he's waiting to get that light striker away. If he's got a sentry, he will be looking at Hung El. The sentry goes down, Hung El will be stunned. Light striker away with forward up, Sunstrike's coming down, it will not land on any heroes. The light striker away is doing fantastic, being able to lock those heroes down. They will find that kill. Vengeful does get on out of there with that track on. The turnaround, T-Chan, he's gonna fall. Fizzy, he gets revealed. Fantastic dust being bought by Nightstalk could get rid of that Invoker. That is 3 kills, all in favor of Snatch Steal.
Yeah, and Andrew picking up a double kill there. That Weaver is getting fat very, very quickly. That's very, very dangerous. I mean, you're currently less than 8 minutes in, sitting on 1.5k, has boots, has that ring of health. It's going to be a very quick Lincoln's here for Adro, which I'm assuming that's what he's going for first, since he's bought this ring of health, and I believe we've seen him pick that up first in the past as well. But yeah, this is looking tough here for PSA. On their side though, they've got that Phantom Lancer who, he's had pretty much a relatively easy time farming it up here in the top lane. We do see him at 42 last hits, which certainly isn't bad. But he doesn't have any kills to his name, so he's definitely behind that Weaver, which we can tell from the net worth graph. It's about 1.7k.
I'm a little surprised this Weaver didn't want to go for a Desolator. I mean, they've got a very commanding lead. If you pick up that Desolator now, you can rip through a lot of these heroes. You find a support out and about. Venomancer, he's gone in a few shots. That Gemini proc Will proc once, you get a third attack off it, and then that Venomancer's dead. Same with T-Chan. And actually, we have 2 smoke ganks for both supports. Both supports are trying to wrap around behind. It's going to be a fight underneath this T1 tower. Fizzy, he will take a lot of damage, but not enough to fall. He's got backup. He's getting an auto attack down, and Chris, he will find that kill, but he's still underneath that T1 tower. T1 tower's helping him down. Oxley jumps on in with a hookshot. He doesn't have any mana to help forward up, but they don't need that mana. Night Stalker will pop that void. They will chase down Barcode. Chris will pick up that double kill, and that's 3 more heroes going in favor of Snatch Steal underneath the Tier 1 tower in mid.
Wow, that was actually a little bit close there, particularly for Chess. Ali as well, he dove onto that tower, he took a Sunstrike to the face, and a bit of tower damage I believe as well, but he was able to survive long enough to back off and come back in and deal some more damage. Optic as well falling low, but great play there from Snatch Steal. They were able to survive, keep all the heroes up, and also managed to get 3 kills, so this is looking like they're going to take a massive lead in the early game, just in terms of gold already. It's looking at around the 6k mark, experience is about 3k, but they've got a very roamy style, and when your heroes start picking up those kills in the first 10 minutes, that's going to just continue to snowball throughout the game.
And this Weaver, he's now picked up his ultimate orb. We've got more stats to his name along with that time lapse, and I just don't think, even with these 2 supports rotating down here, that they can kill him. He's just got too much health, he's got too much maneuverability and escape mechanism. He does get picked up, but unfortunately Sunstrike was not quite coordinated at the time, and the Sakuchi on out of there gets him out there quite safely. 2 supports are rotating in of Optic and Chiss, and now they're going to turn this fight back around, and with this Weaver here doing quite a considerable amount of damage at 97 damage on a Weaver at this stage of the game, usually is not heard of unless he's going for that. Unless he's had a great farm as he has at the start and went for that Desolator. Instead, he picked up the ultimate orb, they're turning back around. T-Chan, he's just fish food, he's just standing here, he's waiting to die. 1 auto attack, 2 auto attack, and then the Sakuchi will finish him off. At the same time in mid lane, they're going on Ali. The Sunstrike will land. Can they get the final auto attack off? He pops that urn, he gets that few extra damage. We have a hookshot coming in by Oxley, he gets galed up. The Gale and the Deafening Blast will land onto Ali. Ali cannot do too much damage, and there's an unfortunate pause coming out by that Weaver onto the Phantom Lancer. I think that was a mana pause to help out the Invoker on their side, so good guy Weaver. Unfortunately at the same time, they will be able to see this. Fizzy will get picked off, and Ali will continue to be alive. But once again, nice counter initiation coming from Snatch Steal.
So I gotta say, Snatch Steal, every time they've gone for a kill or they've been jumped on, they've always been able to survive on a sliver of health. Ali was able to back off there far enough. He then popped off with the urn, of course, and healed himself up. But it looked like he was so close to death, and he still managed to survive, but just barely. Whew, they're quite lucky there in that regard.
That's for sure, and that's one of the drawbacks of having a Venomancer on your side. Sure, he's got that fantastic level 1 Gale and the additional damage coming out from his other things, but he just doesn't have that potential to kill heroes off when you need it, such as some of these other supports like Alina currently on the side of Snatch Steal, or a Vengeful Spirit with that lockdown and negative armor for the rest of your heroes to come in and clean them up. He's got the D2T to chase, and if you guys aren't chasing anywhere and you're manning up to fight, then his effectiveness is a little less than what it usually would be. In the meanwhile though, there's still a group up from supports. They're going to find this Hung Ella. They do have a sentry and dust for him, and he will just get burst down by Lena. There goes the Laguna Blade, and there goes, I don't know, I was going to say his head, but I don't really think a Laguna Blade would take off a head.
Well, it's a blade, so it might.
I don't know, I mean, fiery blade such as that seems more likely to just incinerate or just blow a hole through their head.
A giant hole, yeah.
And now we have the rotation from Snatch.
Yeah, I mean, Snatch still have so much control around the map, and we've seen this pretty much from them in just about every game they've played. That they start off just taking advantage as early as possible, getting as many kills, start moving that advantage from one lane to the other until there's very little that the opponents can do. Once you start losing those tier 1 towers and your tier 2s start getting chipped and whatnot, you can't move around as much, you can't find that farm, and you're just going to continue being on the back foot.
And Invoker, he's got his belt of strength being delivered into him on that courier, and that hurts. He's 2k gold at 13 minutes in. He's not having the best of games. He doesn't have his full boot yet. He's not going to have a 4 stuff, which is very convenient on night, not on night stalkers, on the Invoker quite often. Also, depending on the lane of the Invoker, they like to get their face boots, so that just shows how, unfortunately, not well his mid lane has gone so far. And he has to go for more of defensive boots instead of the aggressive boots where you use your cold snap and your sunstrike to come down on top of him. Bottom lane, the T2 tower will fall. Hookshot comes landing onto T-Chan. Oxley, he doesn't miss a hookshot. He does get hit by the Gale. Can T-Chan get on out of it? No, he cannot. That rocket will pop him off. Bounty Hunter, he's in the middle of the fight. He's been pulled back in. The Laguna Blade's not going to land, but the auto attacks from Adro will land. And now they're going to take this Tier 2 tower. They're going to move 14 to 1. Kill advantage in favor. Optic, Laguna Blades, Light Strike Ray, Dragon Save, Magic Missile will take out that Invoker.
Wow, that was a great initiation. You know, that fight was basically the entire time under tier 2 tower, and yet Snatch Steal, they lost no one and managed to pick off 3 heroes, I believe it was in the entire game. Yeah, it was 3 heroes.
Yep.
The Rubik died there initially, and then it was the Bounty Hunter and Fizzy was the last to fall. But this is Snatch Steal. I mean, they've saw that early advantage and they've taken it and they just continued to snowball with it. It's going to be hard for Snatch Steal to start coming back here. They're going to have to try and find pickoffs for some of these heroes who are sort of by themselves at times, and then gradually just chip away back into a little bit of gold and experience. But so far, Hookshot wasn't on. It was available, but didn't pop it out. Figured that might be a little bit too risky. Don't know where the rest of the heroes are. But so far, great plays from Snatch Steal. So here.
Yeah, they do have a ward up on the hill, so they should see where most of these heroes are. Then we have the Weave, he's got a Sukuchi on it, he's got that like 3 up hookshot, lands up to 3 heroes. Cogs was not popped off instantly, so he will be picked up and thrown back out. T-Chain will fall to the Rocket Barrage, or the Rocket Flare coming out. Then there will be a 3rd hero going down in this fight. Double kill going towards that Clockwork, and now they're going to keep pushing, they're going to keep chasing. Venomancer, Barcode, you're underneath a ward, buddy. He's not going anywhere. That is a death, so they should know there's a ward up here, but that's a little too late for them now to worry about. And that's 19 to 1. It doesn't look like there's truly anything Please Support A you can do about it at the moment. They don't have any of these team fight kind of heroes. They don't have much lockdown. They had this ganking early on style team, but so did Snatch Steal. And Snatch Steal, they used it a lot more efficiently because their ganking roaming, they had lockdown.
Has fallen.
Yeah, I feel like exactly as you're saying, just the lockdown was much better. You know, that the Magic Missile and then the Light Strike Array combo from it's not Oxley, it's Chiss, and of course Optic there. It just worked out so well in the lane. They were able to find out pickoffs on that Bounty Hunter, whereas on the side of PSA they weren't really able to find anything against Oxley in that top lane, who was playing the Clockwork.
Radiant's top tower is under
They tried to gank Ali a few times. He was very lucky to escape. I gotta give it to him there. But yeah, it's just so far Snatch Steal, they've been able to take that advantage. They had that roaming lineup. They moved around the map much more than PSA. And they've got a hero such as Weaver who can be aggressive much earlier compared to the Phantom Lancer. Phantom Lancer is a hero who sort of needs a few core items before he can really start dishing out a lot of damage, before he can really start being active. Whereas Weaver, he's got a little bit more survivability, so he can roam around and start causing havoc around the map.
I just feel the Venomancer and the Invoker, that's the word I'm looking for. Invoker, those 2 picks just didn't really come. Actually, a hookshot from downtown. Oxley lands, and they find a kill onto that Rubik. He jumped from what? He jumped from so far away from that creep camp to find such a great hook. So fantastic jump come out from Oxley. Now they're going to rotate around, and PSA, they're just out of position completely. They will turn around, throw out the cold snap, and that lands. Will they find that kill on the Optic? He's taking a lot of damage. There goes the Doctors. Magic Missile. Fizzy will fall, and then Hung L trying to do whatever he can. Actually, nice. Ghost Walk coming up. Do they have any vision? He's still chasing him down. He's following that trail. The Venom Plague Wards is just going to chase him away.
Yeah, I mean, once again, I feel like it's nice Steal, particularly Optic there, he got a little bit lucky. He was able to survive, but barely, and now he's just been healed up thanks to the urns, and I believe there was a mecha that was popped there as well. There we go. Yeah, it's on the Clockwork.
Radiant's bottom
But yeah,
tower is under
PSA have been so unfortunate with a lot of these kills. And Snatch still have been able to get away on a sliver of health and then heal themselves up thanks to those urns, thanks to a little bit of that regen, and come back into the fight.
And Blink Dagger pick up on Sis, or I want to call you Chris. I really, really do. But Chiss, he's gonna.
I think it's Chiss.
Yeah. It's just my habit. It's just like I want to put an R in there. Like I end up putting random letters in people's names. Like Nevdi, if you're watching, I call him Navadi quite often. I just accidentally put letters into people's names and call them that for a while. But yeah, Chiss, he's got a Blink Dagger up on Lena. We need some more Blink Daggers, maybe up on one on Lever and maybe one on Owly as well. Could work quite nicely. There's a they're gonna try and defend this tower, but actually he jumps on and he gets the hook shot. He's not being able to get those cogs off as that cold snap is keeping him out of the action. Venomous Gale does land onto 4 heroes. It's only level 1, but it should tick him down about 300 HP. If there's a mechanism in here somewhere, well, if it's off cooldown, which it is by Oxley, that will be being popped. He gets popped before he gets hit by that Sunstrike, and yeah, they're not going to worry about it too much. They're just going to probably continue fighting and keep all these lanes pushed in. And maybe rotate to Roshan if they feel like it. At the same time, PL, he's trying to do what he can. He's got his Diffusal almost completed. He's trying to get as much farm and XP as possible. But at the moment, it's not enough. He needs to continue doing it for about another 5 to 10 minutes. If he's uncontested for another 5 to 10 minutes, we might be able to see him do a little bit in these fights. But they need like a perfect engagement at this time of game.
Yeah, and I feel like it's gonna be hard for them to really control those team fights as well. They don't have, for example, like that Darkseer or that Puck, as we were saying earlier, during the drafting phase, to really put Snatch Steel in a position that maybe they don't want to be. The heroes on their side, they're not heroes that can really contain that well. So Snatch Steel, they can, even if they get jumped on and the initiation is good, they can potentially just back off a little bit or move around to ensure that it goes better for them for the rest of the engagement. Whereas, if they had a little bit like that Puck, you can blink in, Waning Rift, Dream Coil, or even just the Darkseer, you can vacuum and just lock heroes into place. But yeah, so even in those team fights, it's going to be tough here for PSA to maintain any sort of control. As you were saying on the Phantom Lancer, if he can just be able to free farm for another 5 to 10 minutes, it's potential that there is some potential there that he can start creating a few plays where his damage and his illusions will just do a ton. But currently, it's not looking too likely.
And we just go up top lane, get a little bit more gold and experience. He does now have a Desolator up on him, so he's hitting for 187 damage. Negate a little bit of get a little armor, but then add the Desolator on top of that. So he's probably hitting for, depending on who's attacking, upwards of 230, 240 damage, especially on heroes such as T-Chan, who's got a very, very low armor pool. Oh my god. And then we have a hookshot coming in from Oxley underneath the ward. We have another blinking coming from Cheers. Sunstrike not going to land on anyone as he gets lifted and thrown out. So a little bit of miscommunication there. Means Oxley won't take about 3 damage from that Sunstrike. And now they're just going to walk away and keep pushing these lanes in.
That's actually happened twice now. I believe it happened at the bottom tier 2 tower as well, when Oxley initiated on that Rubik and he lifted him up, pushed him out, and then the Sunstrike came, but there was no hero there. So yeah, a little bit of miscommunication there. And Snatch Steel, they're just currently all over the map, except for really wherever the PL is, which is a very smart PL. Like, he sees where the rest of, or he sees as much as he can see of where SS is, and he's like, I'm not going to be there, I'm just going to try and find as much farm as I can, because I'm going to need it in order to help my team out.
Now, they're going to be pushing this mid lane. PL, he does have a TP if he needs to use it, but he doesn't want to use it at all costs. He wants to keep pushing. He wants to keep finding that farm. And we have a blink coming in by Chest. It will land on the bucket. Bucket taking a lot of damage. He will get picked off due to that rocket flare coming out. And then Sunstrike, it does land, but it's not high enough to pick off Chest. We have an urn, we have a mechanism, and he'll be back to full health in no time.
Once again, another hero from Snatch Steel, another player just surviving barely. That must have been like about 50 health, if that, before the urn and mecha came.
Actually, we got a blinking coming in, and the BKB is popped. They're going on T-Chen. T-Chen will fall to the auto attacks. The first hook shot in the world for Oxley in this game has unfortunately whiffed. And now, Ali, he's very, very deep, but he does have an Aegis to his name. but there's not too much PSA can do about this. They're going to try and find something. The Sunstrike is not going to miss as the full stuff came out from somewhere. Clockwork had full stuff. And we see Optic, he's trying to run for it. He cannot get on out of there. That lance does hit him in the face. They do grab melee racks. Do they decide to stay around? There's a swarm coming out, a lot of negative armor. We've got some auto attacks in there. We see the barcode will fall shortly. Just Ali. Ali's going to keep trying to find it. The dust is out. Hung L is still on the run. We have a buyback coming from Barcode. Barcode wants to get back in here. Chis gets forced stuff out by Oxley. Oxley trying to keep his fellow support alive as long as possible. But rear glute spread, please. We'll spread those glutes apart and pick up his kill and pick up a nice killing spree for 406 gold to help his farm out a little bit more. He's got 2,800 gold, so he'll be working towards his next bigger item. But that came at the cost because Snatch still, they did get over aggressive, and PSA, there was buybacks and there was a lot of needing to recuperate at that fountain.
Yeah, I mean, Snatch still were like they were pushed away. Rear glutes spread plays, as you said. He did well to pick off Chis there, but at the same time, all that at the cost of a mid Drax. That's a big deal, especially since it's only 24 and a half-ish minutes into the game. They're going to have to just be defending constantly now, and the problem there is that if you can't really move outside of your base, sure, maybe the Phantom Lancer will be able to pick up a little bit of farm, as he's now, moving into the lanes, but the rest of your heroes aren't, and they want to fall back even further behind than they already are compared to the rest of the lineup from Snatch Steel.
They might be looking to go on Weaver here, but they need to pop that Lincoln Sphere, or they've got no CC on him, and we do have him trying to burst Sakuchi in, and we got the Sentry Ward down, but Adro, he's already out of there. There's not much you can do about it. He's going to try and continue Sakuchi in, but going to Sakuchi himself back out. And now Chis is like, we can take this, let's come in. They're going to pull in all their heroes and they will try and turn us around. Fortunately fortunately for PSA, they've already gotten their way out of there, but they're so far behind at the moment. They're struggling. Invoker, level 9, that's not where you want your Invoker. He needs that XP. I mean, his Sunstrike, it's only doing, how much damage are we doing? 287 true damage at the moment. You want a lot higher on your Invoker, because you can find those pickoffs, you can find a lot more damage. Another thing I feel as if this Invoker could have done, after this change after this shift in the game, maybe start working on your Wex and Exhort and go for possibly the Meteorite and the Deafening Blast combination, because if you have that out, that's a lot of damage in a line. Then you also have a lot of missed chances on that Weaver, on that Night Stalker, and also a lot of damage, not to mention. So it's something I would have liked maybe him adjusted his build. Instead, he's going to continue to try and force his way down the Forge Spirit, Cold Snap, and Sunstrike build, which at the moment is just not working for him.
Well, that Deafening Blast and Meteor will have also given them a lot more AoE, which they don't have too much of. They have the Venomancer, but it's not really damage quickly, it's damage over a long period of time. And in these fights, they need a little bit more burst there, just they need to deal a little bit more damage, so Snatch Steel don't feel as safe.
Now we got a little bit of a tornado coming through. It's a very short tornado as Wex is only level 1. The tower will go down. Does Snatch still want to stay around and try and take some more out of the support AU? But they will not. They're going to back off. PL still trying to push these lanes. He's picked up a Reaver. He's working his way to a heart. Can he pick up this heart? I mean, if he can pick up this heart, then he's going to be really tanky. He can try and work his way through his back lines of Snatch Steel. Oh, I almost forgot their name there. But he's trying to keep up. His gold is 11k, Night Stalker is 13, almost 14k gold, and Weaver. He's out off the charts at 17k gold.
Yeah, the net worth here for Hadra is insane, and that's just because in that early game he was able to pick off so many kills. He got the first blood, he got a few kills after that, and he just continued to snowball. He's got a Daedalus now. He just has to basically send it to himself, and it'll be a completed recipe. It does of course have the Demon Age at the moment, Chrysalis, and the recipe is in the base. But this Weaver is just, even if you were to finally jump on him, he should just be able to pop that time lapse and Shikuchi on out of there. He does have a Lincoln's, which can stop things like the track, the Rubik lift, and all that sort of stuff. So he's not only is he dealing a ton of damage, he's very survivable as well, which we can see since he's died exactly 0 times. In fact, there's quite a few heroes here from Snatch Steal, both Oxley and Ellie as well. Don't have a death to their name. It's I mean, it's tough here. PSA, they've only been able to pick up 3 kills in the entire game, and it's not really on the heroes that you would have wanted. And currently they're also racks down. Sure, this Phantom Lancer is starting to get some of those big items, but I think it might just be too late now.
And now, gonna be pushing up this ramp. There's a lot of wards here, but wards can only be food for this owlie. He's just gonna eat them up. And now, it's gonna be a little bit of standoff, but it's just gonna be a constant chip at this tower. They've got no reason to get in here. Mid lane's gonna be pushing. Really good spread, please. He might get a little bit of an illusion army going on. If he can get an illusion army and then rotate them in as the team fight happens, he's got a lot of damage there. And he's got a lot of army. He's just going to use that army to push out that mid lane, try and keep it out of their way and not have to worry about it. But this is the final stand. Can please support AU make a dent in Snatch Steal lineup? Please find out after the break.
No, there will be no break.
I don't know. We might see another pause. But I don't want to pause.
That's yeah. I mean that's true. You can Aussie internet. Anyone can disconnect at any time, for no apparent reason. But currently it just looks like that's Snatch Steal. They're just sort of trying to siege up in this base. In fact, Ali's going to go in from behind.
He's got that BKB up. He doesn't need to pop it off. There we go. BKB's been popped. Venomous Gale is not going to do a lot. We do see that being just instantly time lapse. T-Chen gets bashed. He will fall. He will bite back. Can he do too much? We got the swap going on too. That Phantom Lancer. Phantom Lancer does keep alive just a little bit longer. He almost has enough to buy that heart. He's just 300 gold short. But in the meanwhile, Crit Shiz, he gets swapped back in from T-Chan, and they will find a kill up here. They're aggressive. They haven't found anything. Oxley will fall to that final auto attack from the Invoker. That's a double kill going Invoker. Unfortunately, there's a Sunstrike missing completely there. However, they did find 2 very over-aggressive kills going the way of them, but they did have to expend a buyback on T-Chan to get it. But it was worth it, because they are ahead, so they got a lot more gold. And actually, Hung L, he's still trying to chase down Ali. And the Laguna Blade comes out. Optic doesn't want any of that. He's going to try and save it. The unfortunate Death Blast not going to reach them quite as of yet. Hung L is going to throw out the other track, and they're just going to watch them run off into the distance.
Yeah, the over-aggression from Snatch Steal, it did cost them 2 deaths there. And it's a bit... I mean, it's not huge, but at the same time, when you're this far ahead, you really shouldn't be dying too much, and you should, at the very least, if you are going to be dying, have some sort of reasonable trade. They didn't really get anything out of it. As you said, they got a kill there on T-Chan, but for the loss of T heroes, it wasn't really worth it. I believe they did a bit of chip damage off this tier 3 tower, but besides that, they essentially just had to turn and run as quickly as possible because PSA were trying to find a few more kills. They weren't able to capitalize on many more. Unfortunately, that Sunstrike was just a little bit off there when Adre was teleporting out. But at the same time, this is sort of what PSA need. They needed a few pickoffs here and there where they don't lose too much and to start really coming back into this game.
Really good. It's like, oh, free dust. I'll pick up the dust and deny my TP scroll. I really feel as if TP scroll is a little bit more worth than a dust at this stage in the game, especially with the amount of split pushing he's been putting on. I really feel if he should have just left that dust there on the ground.
He wants to see. He wants to be able to see Adro no matter what.
Until he gets rewind and then Adro starts ripping through people.
Yeah.
I mean, at the moment, he's been doing a good being able to split push. It's been holding Snatch Steal off enough. I mean, he's been able to pick up his heart, but he's only got a Diffusal Blade for damage. Is he able to outlast the damage of Snatch Steal for his illusions to start racking up and the Diffusal damage to be able to start doing a lot of damage? That is the question. Last time, they only took about half damage on this tier 3 tower and they picked up 2 kills at the loss of a Rubik. Will they be able to pick up more now that he has a little bit more farm to his name, a little bit more items? He's decided to drop that dust off in the fountain, so he doesn't even want the dust anymore. My god. That's just... I don't even have words.
Yeah, I mean, he killed off a TP, picked up a dust, pretty much threw the dust away, and brought another TP.
I mean, good that he brought a TP, but come on.
Yeah, I don't know. But I mean, at this stage, you know, as you were saying, they do need to find more pickoffs. It's going to be tough here now that Adro also has a Aegis. So it's, you know, you kill him once, and it doesn't matter. He's going to be back up in you know 4 or so seconds, and then he's going to be dishing out a ton of damage again. So it's just looking really tough here. But looks like we might have engagement very soon. This is bottom lane. Both teams just sort of eyeing each other off, doing a little bit of chip damage to each other.
Oxley, he's sitting on the side, he's throwing out those flares, he wants to find his kill. He's watching his targets very carefully. They're going to see a high ground, a little bit of vision here. He's going to be waiting. Owlie runs in front, so he's not going to be able to jump on in. And Oxley, he's just still standing his ground. He doesn't need to move. He gets tracked off, but he doesn't care. Come on, Oxley. He wants to jump in, but he just can't get in as of yet. But now he's been tracked up, he's like, I should probably move around a little now.
I mean, just move around, wiggle a little bit. Maybe the track will just fall off. But he's just basically stood there and just chucked rocket flares, waiting for the perfect opportunity. And in fact, they might have found one.
Yeah, and Ali's going to go in. He's going on Hung Al. Hung Al's going to be able to sneak on out of there. Lagoona comes through. That will pick off Barcode. Then, unfortunately, the Rook will fall shortly after. That's a double kill going to the Weaver. And then we have Rear Glutes, please, with all his farm, isn't able to stand up against Ali, and the right-click damage coming out from Adro. They will find a tier 3 tower. They will find a Rax. And they will probably also find the game very shortly. Unless they can find the kill in Adro. And Adro is... Never mind, he gets a nice crit, he finds a kill, and the Aegis is now popped, but he should be able to get these racks pretty easily by himself.
Yeah, in fact, he will get the melee. He'll probably back off. Yeah, he won't go for the ranged at the moment. Oxley actually barely got away there from the illusions of the Phantom Lancer. He was basically chased all the way into the jungle. He popped off the cogs, and that showed him that he was able to get away, but he fell to like about 30 health. So once again, Sntatch still able to just sneak away on the small sliver of health. This is... I'm not even sure if this is luck anymore, if this is just pure skill.
Yeah, they're just giving a little bit of hope to PSA and then punching him in the face.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just like it's like they're just teasing him just enough for PSA's hopes to go up, and then all of a sudden it's like, nah, not gonna happen. And they just get on out of there.
Like, I mean, the amount of close calls, as you said, Owie gets out just every time. Optic makes himself aware and just gets out with that blink dagger and just not dying. He gets earned up on mechanism and he just survives. But I think the only one that's really dying, I was gonna say Oxley, but Oxley's only got one death to his name. It's Chiss, that's the word. It's Chiss. Because he's putting himself in the thick of the action. Yet still, he manages to get himself out half the time as well.
Yeah, it's... I don't understand. They've been so lucky with that, but it's almost gotten to the point it's happened so many times, I can't say it's luck anymore. I don't know, it's just... If a lot of those early kills, if they were... Or I should say a lot of those early engagements from PSA, if they had done like, 40 damage more in that fight on the hero, they could have had like almost double the amount of kills that they have currently. Like that's how many close calls there have been there for Snatch Steal.
Yeah. Oh, a little bit of chat going on. Asking how their night is, and then Fizzy just comes out of nowhere and just says, terrible. Come on Fizzy, you can do this. Win this or I die. Oh, that could be interesting. Well, the tier 3 tower...
That's harsh.
Yeah, the tier 3 tower will go down. The Tornado's not going to be able to do too much there. The Rex is going down, and I think we might see... And the death has been called for Fizzy. Snatch Steal will be winning this preliminary game. They will be moving on to the quarterfinals, which will be on tomorrow. So make sure that everyone who is watching to tune in, or else you could end up the same fate as Fizzy.
Apparently, yeah. We don't have the full schedule announced at the moment because we're still waiting for a few teams to confirm. Hopefully they'll confirm tonight. It would suck if they confirm times tomorrow morning when we'll be in the middle of it. But yeah, thank you guys very much for watching. Thank you very much for both sides here for providing some entertainment for you guys. I hope you guys have enjoyed our casting. I've been Zalif, of course, and I've been joined by D2T. thank you to Cubus for sponsoring the tournament, and of course thank you for the defense of the Australians admins for running it. Any shoutouts, Yoshi?
No, I'm pretty good, thanks. Anyway, shout out to Obvious Squirrel for talking about drop bears in the Twitch chat. I love you, man.
Alright. Thank you guys very much for watching once again, and we'll see you guys tomorrow.